Hello, this is Darren.
And this is Paige.
And this is
Where's the Lemonade?
Where we talk about what happens when life throws you lemons.
Make some lemonade?
Maybe. Some weeks it's lemon squares.
Yeah, some weeks it's just lemons.
Yeah. On today's episode.
Let's talk about how boring our marriage is.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Let's do it.
Okay, so when was this? A couple weeks ago? You approached me about a topic for the podcast that was basically monotony in our marriage. It's specifically in our marriage.
Well, we were talking about what we were going to discuss on our next podcast. And you were like, Paige, do some research, since I am the research department of Where's the Lemonade.
Yes, you are.
And I start just like looking for ideas online. I don't even know how I came across it, but all of a sudden I was like, I've got it. I've got the topic. And Darren was like, oh, what? And I said, monotony in marriage. And he's like, oh, really? I said, yes, let's discuss. It's a thing. It's a thing for us.
It's a thing. I think for some of us more than others. So I think this came off of, this was about 2 weeks after our horrendous week after Christmas, when all the kids were gone and Sam was working, and we just sat and binged watched ER. We got through 5 seasons in a week.
It was pathetic.
I guess 4 seasons.
It was only 4 seasons, but it was pretty pathetic. And it didn't make me feel good.
No.
It didn't. I felt weird.
And then afterwards, you were like, we're kind of stuck in a rut. And we've had episodes about getting stuck in a rut before.
We have. You can go back and listen to those too.
But it's just because we're doing the same thing over and over. That monotony.
Yes. So the research department, which always does such a good job for
She does a great job. Check out our blog where you can see the links to the articles that she researched.
Yes, I always, find some people that know what they're talking about.
Or we make fun of what they say.
Or we make fun of what they talk about. Yes, sorry about that. But yeah, I found some articles, and it does it about, monotony, not monogamy, monotony.
Well, I thought we should name the episode Monotony and Monogamy, but then some of you might think this is a different kind of episode. That's not what this is.
No, we're talking about just boredom, staleness, right?
Well, it wasn't like that at the first year of our marriage, or maybe even the first 3 or 4 years of our marriage.
That's the thing. So in these articles, it would say, like, in the beginning of your marriage, like, everything feels new and exciting, and you've got romantic date planned, and you leave notes for each other, and and everything that they do is cute. All their little quirks, they're so cute and endearing. And then
what?
And then that honeymoon stage does not last forever.
No, it doesn't. But all right, so I have a question around that. If I left you a note every single time I left for work on a business trip, would that get monotonous as well?
I don't think so. You should try it.
Okay.
There have been notes that you have left for me years ago.
I know, they're still up.
They're still up.
I know.
The notes are still. He had sticky notes that he put like I would open up my cupboard to get like my clothes, and it's there's a sticky note. I love you, and to get my makeup, and it was like I can't wait to see you again. Like,
see, I don't need to create new ones because they're already up.
Maybe you should just write ditto on them.
Maybe I'll do that.
And then just keep putting like a hash mark by it.
Thinking of you again.
But, it doesn't last forever. And things are going to simmer down. And you might find yourself feeling bored. And maybe your relationship feels more like a routine than a relationship. And I think that happens to a lot of people.
I think that happens to a lot of people.
Right? We're now just in a routine. We're not in a relationship. Or we're in a relationship.
No, we're in a relationship. We're in a routine.
We're in a relationshipy. Is that a word?
Yeah,
relationshipy routine.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's okay too, though, because that brings comfort and reliability. But you say you need to mix it up every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'll
It
say
doesn't
this.
mean that your marriage is doomed if you've fallen into this.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, it doesn't mean your marriage is doomed. But if both of you are happy with your relationshipy routine, then stop listening to this episode right now.
Does that mean we can't finish the whole series of ER? Because we're halfway through now.
I'm just saying, if you're like, hey, this is great, this is comfortable, this is exactly where I want a relationship to be, that's great. If you both feel that way, that's great. But the two people in our relationship might not feel that way.
Yes, that is true. But I don't know. There is something to, I know when we go to bed, we're going to watch an episode or two of ER.
Okay, now I do have to say, I look forward to that. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, is it time to say prayer? Is it time to go to bed? Because I got to know what happens in ER next. No, I mean, I look forward to that. I don't think there's anything wrong with some routines in a relationship. There's nothing wrong with that.
But what you're saying is, if it's the same every single day, all the time, that spark is kind of slowly fading away.
Yes, when it's just like, wake up, do the same thing, go to bed, wake up. Like, when there's just nothing different, I think that you start to lose some spark. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? I'll start leaving my socks on the floor.
That's so sweet.
I haven't done it for years,
I know.
so maybe I should start.
That'll take me back to our first year of marriage.
I know,
Aww.
see? I'm trying.
You're very thoughtful. Maybe that could be my Valentine's Day present.
Maybe that's what I'll do for Valentine's Day.
Oh, I can't wait! It's so exciting.
No, I know where you're coming from. There's some excitement when you're first married because you're still learning a lot about each other. You're still
Yes.
You're still in the throes.
It's like
of
an onion that you keep peeling back, right?
So we're at the core of the onion, and there's nothing left.
And we just got tears now from that onion. No, you know that we're actually pretty good at we're pretty good at mixing things up, but that week after Christmas,
That week after Christmas, yeah.
that was rough. That we were not mixing anything up.
No.
It was terrible weather. You didn't feel like connecting with work, and it's just
Yeah. Well, I was on vacation.
Yes, you were on vacation.
Okay, so now we've set the stage for how boring our marriage is. We didn't even tell you our normal routine.
What's our normal routine?
Well, I'm home almost every day now because of work. I'm on travel restrictions still. So I'm home every day. So I wake up, I come into my office and work. We have lunch together most days.
Typically, yeah.
And then we have dinner, and then
Wow.
it's a pretty boring life. No, it's not that boring. But I like the advice that they gave here, which is interesting advice. So you can take kind of a little note for yourself. Do you fit into the boring category or not? How's that sound?
Yeah, so if you do feel like you're in this boring rut, like Darren said, your marriage is not doomed, but it means you might need to devote a bit more time and energy to make things exciting again. And you know what? Marriage is work. And if you're putting the least amount of energy into your marriage and you're putting all your energy into kids and work and church and friends, your priorities need to be readjusted for sure. And, we feel the same way, right? Like sometimes you have to readjust and go, wait a second, why are we last on the list? So
Because we're boring. Well, that's what it goes to.
So
we're reliable. I know you're always going to be there for me no matter what. So sometimes my priorities get shifted more towards work because I don't know that it's going to be there. I need to put extra effort in.
Yeah.
Or maybe one of our kids is having an issue at the moment and we need to focus on them for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
But what you're saying is don't forget.
Don't forget that your relationship is one of the most, if not the most important thing, right? In your life. So let's talk about what might be adding to the monotony of your marriage. Okay,
here we go.
Okay, so first thing, you don't surprise each other. So just like
Boom! Did that surprise you?
No.
Oh,
so
sorry.
just like we were talking about the notes, right? Like you surprised me. That gives me butterflies. If
I did not know that.
oh, totally.
So you're saying
Totally.
small things that are outside of the ordinary.
It does not have to be extravagant. If you don't want, like, oh, I can't spend money. Because you've even done things like when I've gone on a girls' trip, you've had things waiting for us at our hotel. So sweet. So sweet. But yes, if you're like, oh, we can't spend money on that, that's fine. It can be a note. It can be a sticky note.
Yeah, you can put notes in suitcases and things like that.
Yes, it's a thoughtful act. Keeps your marriage fresh.
I also like what the article said here too, or at least what you put in the research, which is the cliff notes of the articles.
Yes.
Make sure your surprises match the needs and the personality of your spouse.
Yes. Okay. So what does that mean? What do you think that means? People are sitting there going, well, I don't understand.
Well, if I got you a jar of pickles, that would be a surprise.
That would be a surprise.
But not a good surprise because you hate pickles.
I would laugh and go, why did you do this?
Right. He says, obviously he forgot that I hate pickles.
Well, and maybe you need to figure out your love language, which I know that you're like, oh, love language. It's a thing. Like some people, they are gift people. They want a gift. It doesn't mean you have to go buy them an expensive gift, but go buy them a candy bar. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or maybe it's they need affection. Or maybe it's they need some spontaneity. Or they, you know what I mean? Like, so you need to know. So if you're like, well, I sit by you on the couch every night and hold your hand. Well, that might not be enough. So yes, I love how they said to match their needs with your personality.
Might not be enough if I just hold your hand. Oh, you want me to rub your feet?
You don't rub my feet very often.
I know, so that would be a surprise.
That would be a surprise.
So I can't rub them every night.
that.
Otherwise, it's not surprising.
It'd become boring.
So yeah, mix it up. All right, next one. You're not sharing enough with your partner, or you're joined at the hip.
Yeah, both are not great, right? So if you're not sharing enough with your partner, right, like. You need to bond with each other. You need to be vulnerable. If you're at the point in your marriage where you're like, I don't want to, I'm not going to bother to tell him this because then that might lead to this conversation and that, like, so I'm not even going to share. I'm just going to share with my girlfriend. That's not a good place to be in your marriage, right? To not want to share.
I don't know. It's interesting. I watched my grandparents when I was a kid. I was at their house. They shared a lot without saying a word to each other. It was amazing.
Well, it said in the article, sharing can be the exchange of information, emotions, and experiences. So they were maybe, sharing emotions, right? They knew what each other
wanted and need. So
Yeah.
I like that sharing goes there. Now, what about joining at the hip?
Well, so you need to be your own person. So couples who spend too much time together can easily start to feel bored because they're spending too much time together. So you need to make sure that you are doing things that fill your bucket outside. Just like, here's a good example. You went to lunch the other day with a friend.
Yeah.
Your very good friend. And you guys were at lunch for like 3 hours. In fact,
It was not.
it was like 2.5 hours.
It was an hour and 45 minutes. And then both of our wives started calling us.
It was hours. It was hours.
It was an hour and 45 minutes.
No, it
and
wasn't.
both of our wives started calling us. And it's funny because when they go out to lunch, it's like a 3-hour ordeal. But they just weren't used to us guys hanging out and talking to each other.
You guys left at 11:45. I called you at 2 and asked you to bring something home for Sam.
It was 1:30.
Right, but you didn't come home till 2.
Well, I had to buy stuff for Sam
Well,
then.
My gosh, you guys.
I'm just saying,
an
an hour and 45 minutes into it,
Yes.
both of our wives were calling
yes,
us.
that is true. We're like, what are you guys doing? And you're like, I'm sure. So
No, that was good though, and even my friend said it was good to talk to someone just besides my wife.
yes,
Because I need a new perspective, and there wasn't the emotions in it.
right.
Right, because we could talk about it without the emotion of the relationship that we have with our spouse, and we weren't even talking about our spouses. We were talking about kid things or work things,
Right.
Or other the world events things,
Right.
So it was interesting, and I kind of like that aspect that, hey, it's okay. It's okay to go out and do other things without your spouse. Just that shouldn't be the only thing that you do. You still need to
Absolutely.
connect with your spouse.
Yes. You shouldn't be telling your friends more than you're telling your spouse.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but Find new hobbies of your own, have experiences away from your spouse sometimes, and then you share about those things.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because you wanted the tea.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Am I
that's
cool in my lingo
You're
now?
cool in your lingo. I was like,
you wanted the tea.
which you always want that after I get back.
Of
from
course
something.
I do.
You're
I
like,
want to hear all the
you're
good
like,
stuff.
Spill the tea, baby.
Yeah.
So yeah. So okay. So there's that one.
Okay, the next one. Technology is consuming you. Now, I work for a high-tech company.
Are you already going to go on the defensive on this?
No, I'm not. I want all of you to consume more of technology because I get paid when you do. So
yeah, that is true.
So please buy more laptops, buy more cloud services. It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Go spend your money on electronics. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Do you have any issues with that?
Yes. People, get off your phones. And I'm not saying that to all of you. Well, I am saying that to all of you. And I'm also saying that to these two people sitting here. Get off your phones.
But unless you're listening to our podcast, don't stop. Invite your spouse to listen with you.
That's right. So, to avoid falling victim to fubbing.
Some made-up word. I don't know. I've never heard fubbing.
Fubbing. Okay. Do any of you out there know what fubbing is? So I had to look it up actually.
Is a phone husband?
So fubbing is, okay, so you know the word snubbing, right? So you're snubbing someone when you're ignoring them or whatever. So fubbing is you're ignoring someone because you're on your phone. Hence the P-H-U-B-B-I. So fubbing, you're snubbing someone because you're on your phone. How do you like that?
I like that.
Don't fall victim to fubbing. So the article suggested to institute some phone-free time each day. Be present. Now, Darren is sick of hearing about this from me because I'm like a broken record on. To me, it's not even about the time you spend on your phone. It's not. I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general. It's not about. Right. It's not about the time that people spend on their phone.
It's about when you're spending.
It is about when. It's about reading the room. If your child comes over to you and wants to talk to you, put your phone down.
I don't know, but sometimes I want to talk to you about things you don't care about.
What?
I don't really care about Pokemon.
It doesn't matter. You have to go, and ask even one or two questions. And that's what you do. So
you're showing that you care.
You're showing that you care and that you're interested. So it is not, to me, this is just me. This could be different for all of you out there. It is not about the amount of time you're spending on your phone. It is when. When are you spending that time on your phone? Are you giving your family, your spouse, enough time?
Wait, just one second. I got to answer this email.
Yes, this is a thing with us.
It is.
It is a thing.
It is.
I mean, how often, every few months, I say to Darren, like,
I fall victim to it sometimes.
I'm like, so, the whole phone thing. And he's like, okay, I'll do better.
But to my own defense, I've been connected to work for 30 years. Actually, since I started my career, I had a pager or a phone because I was always on call. So it's a it's a really bad habit. I hear that beep go off and I go, that's got to be important. I need to check and see if it is.
Yes, but you know me. I'm not bothered when it is work, but when you're reading the news on your phone, when we're just like sitting having a conversation, I mean, you know better than to do that with me, because if he's fubbing me, I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
Don't fub me.
Yeah. It's a problem. Believe me, you don't want to fub Paige.
This is getting weird.
Yeah, I know. All right. Let's go to the next one. Not putting energy into your relationship. You already talked a little bit about this.
We did talk a little bit about
that. If you're in a rut and you're like, well, I'm just relying on this relationship, we'll just keep going the way it is, it's going to run out of energy. So you need to put energy into it. Think about romantic things that your spouse enjoys, whether it's candy, flowers, music, dancing, whatever it may be, candlelight dinners, whatever the case may be.
I don't even feel like it has to be that.
What do you think?
I think, I mean, that's
So this is where men and women are completely confused, because as men, we have no idea what our women's want.
Well, no, when you're putting, it doesn't have to be romantic, though, is what I'm saying, is to reinvent and rekindle your relationship, it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. You can go be like, hey, you want to go play pickleball today with me?
That's pretty romantic.
It's being together.
It's
doing things.
I gotcha.
Doing things together. Yes.
Not just sitting there watching a movie together.
Right. And it's not just like you going out and doing something for that person. Like, oh, I'm going to go buy her flowers. I'm going to go buy her, which that's great too. But I just don't want men to think that they always have to be doing that. They don't. Hey, let's go on a walk together.
So something different.
Yeah, just something to do together. So that,
Okay.
just so you feel like, and obviously women can do this too. In fact, I'm not a fan of women thinking that only men have to do these kind of things, that men have to have to be the instigators in all relationship, making a date that, oh, well, he didn't plan anything. I believe that you both should take responsibility for that. And going back to the week after Christmas, we said, we will never let that happen again. We will put things on the calendar. Like, hey, Monday we're going to do this. Tuesday we're going to do this. Wednesday we're going to do this. So I think that's a great idea. Putting energy into your relationship is to sit down with the calendar and say, this is going to be our date night and we're going to go out to eat and you're going to plan it. And then the next week, we're going to go do this and I'm going to plan it, right?
Yeah, okay.
Take turns.
I like that. All right, next one. Make sure you're setting goals for your relationship. What in the world does that mean? I mean, we hit our goal. We're married. That was our goal, wasn't it?
Well, a lot of people, like when they get married, like their goal is to buy a house, to have kids, I want to buy this car, I want to get through school. Like, right,
so
you
you're
have
not
these
talking
goals.
Just relationship goals. You're talking goals in general in your life.
Goals in general that you are both working towards, or that you're supporting someone. Like, oh, you're getting your PhD right now. I'm supporting you in that goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you're like, well, we've bought the house, we have the kids, right? Like, we and you don't set any new goals. It was saying in this article that you become unenthused about the future if you don't set goals with each other. So isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that is interesting.
And I love this quote. It says, happiness comes from moving toward what you want, not necessarily getting it. I love that.
Also, it's the journey, not the destination.
The journey. Oh, brother. I hate that
I don't know.
But
I like the destination when we're on a long international flight more than the international flight.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but I understand where they're coming from on this. We're doing something together to achieve a goal in the end, and we're building our relationship even stronger, relying on each other, helping each other. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah. So, support each other and set some goals. Maybe they're financial. Maybe they're emotional. Maybe they're
spiritual.
Yes, maybe they're spiritual. But maybe, hey, I've got this goal. Do you want to join me in that? No? Okay, great. Can you just support me? And
let's do something together.
Yeah, let's do some couple goals. So yeah, I actually really like that.
All right, well, that's something we can work on.
Yeah, we're working towards something together. So I really like that.
Okay, next one. You're too routine. You always eat at the same restaurants. You always walk the same neighborhood. Everything's humdrum. Everything's the same in routines.
We're boring. So it says, try new restaurants. In fact, we were talking about this. Yeah. We help out with a couple of different charities, and we're seeing some of the new to us, some of the old areas of Sacramento and the surrounding cities, and we're like,
I didn't know. Yeah, there's cute restaurants over there.
This is only 15 minutes from our house. Who knew that all these restaurants existed?
Or parks, or things. So get out, drive around. We're old now because we go on drives now.
Let's go on a drive.
Oh
my gosh.
But get outside your comfort zone. Try something new, like pickleball. We just picked up pickleball.
Yep.
We are so good at it now.
Oh my gosh.
Not
even close.
It's funny though.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's fun.
All right. There's a lot of other examples of how to keep things fresh. Check out the articles on our blog site, and you'll find out a lot more there. Okay, our lemonade moment of the week.
We went to Utah this weekend.
And we got to experience a lot of fun. It was snowing. I took a day off from work to go skiing with my granddaughter and my son-in-law and my son.
Yep.
And it was beautiful for the first 2 runs. And then the third run turned into a massive blizzard, 70-mile-an-hour winds. I'll post the video up on YouTube. It was crazy. And then we couldn't ski the rest of the day. So that kind of stunk. But later that evening, we went to your aunt's 80th birthday party. You got to see all of your bestie cousins.
Yes, and some of them I had not seen in years.
Decades.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them 15, 20 years I hadn't seen them. So that was awesome. Got to see my mom. And then we had an entertainer that was an Elvis impersonator and a ventriloquist. So funny. And then we danced the night away. We had so much fun dancing. See, that's not boring.
The best part for me was watching Paige interact with her cousins and hearing the stories that they had to tell about when they were growing up and roller skating in the basement and things. It was fun to just see her turn back into a little girl that enjoyed all that time with her cousin.
Yeah, it was fun. That was a fun party. If you like today's episode,
give us 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, Google.
And head to Facebook and like us.
And check out our blog at where'sthelemonade.org,
where you can leave questions and comments.
But most of all,
go out and make some lemonade.
You betcha, baby.